Hello mathematicians, welcome to math today. Today we're going to learn about why ID is required. Sometimes you go some places and they're like, hey, who are you? What you doing here? And the same thing happens with our angles. We're like, what are you and what are you doing here? Tell me all about it. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is what makes up an angle. Okay, first off, we have an endpoint. Okay, if that endpoint is attached to a line that has an arrow on the other end so that it just keeps going forever, we call that a ray. So we have an endpoint. Endpoint that has a line coming off of it is a ray. Awesome, right? However, if another ray also shares that same endpoint and has a ray coming off of that, we call that an angle. In math talk, because we don't like to write lots of big words because mathematicians often have really bad handwriting like me, we just call it an angle. And that's all. That's how we write angle. So if you see this shape, you will know that, hey, we're talking about an angle. However, that has nothing to do with the size of the angle. We have different size angles we're going to talk about. The first one is so cute. Look how little and cute he is. We call this one an acute angle. Okay? An acute angle is any angle that is less than 90 degrees. Oops, not 9 degrees. 90 degrees. So if we have an angle that is this big right here, that angle is acute. If we have an angle that is close to 90 degrees, but still less than 90 degrees, that angle is acute. Okay, so some of your problems today, you're going to have to estimate how far that is away from zero, because our bottom line is considered zero. How many degrees up this one? This one would maybe be 10 to 15, whereas this one might be 80 degrees. So we're going to be estimating and you're going to have to figure out which ones are closer. You've done this before, it's just a little bit more practice. Okay, so those are acute angles. The next one are perfectly straight up and down and side to side. We call these right angles. And a right angle measures exactly 90 degrees. Okay, most of the time when you see a right angle, it will have a little square here to show you it is exactly 90 degrees. Other angles might have a little round arc, but right angles will have that 90 degrees. They are exactly 90 degrees and 90 degrees only. Next kind of label or angle we're going to talk about, I'm going to draw this one the opposite direction just so you can see it. If I have my ray starting there, and then I have one going out that direction. Look how big that angle is. If it were straight up and down, it would be 90 degrees, but it's way bigger. Wow, he's kind of crazy. He is greater than 90 degrees. He's still an angle. An angle greater than 90 degrees we call obtuse. Kind of like when your little brother or sister or whatever are being obstinate and they just want their whatever they want and they're gonna get it. An obtuse is kind of big and a bully and he just gets whatever he wants. But they're pretty cool too. We like them. So the next type of angle, tell me what you think this resembles. There's an endpoint and there's a ray that goes that way and then there's another ray that goes that way. Think about, okay, we usually have a circle around our angles, and I'm not a very good artist. You all know this, but you love me anyway. Thank you. Look at this. If it were to go straight up and down, it would measure 90 degrees. Oh, look, there would be another 90 degrees right there, which means 90 plus 90 is 180 degrees. We call this bugger right here a straight angle. He's got an angle. He is straight. Some people will call it a straight line, but if This little end point right there actually has a name, which you'll learn a lot more about tomorrow. We call it a straight angle. He's crazy, he's cranky, does what he wants. That's okay. Another type of angle that we're going to talk about. Let me get my black going here. So if we have our endpoint and a ray, okay, and remember our angles are rotation. So if our arc comes all the way around here, where we have another ray that shares the same endpoint, and it goes all the way around. We just talked about that if it went halfway, that was 180 degrees. If it goes the other half, that's another 180 degrees. Well, 180 plus 180 is, that's 16, 1, 6, 1, 2, 3, 360 degrees in a full circle. Some of you might have skateboards or whatever, and you're like, dude, I just did a 360. That means you did a full circle. Ice skaters, when they do their spins and turn around, if they turn around all the way one time, they do a 360. So that's some information that you're going to need for our information today. Our assignment. The other information that you're going to need is how to estimate an angle. So when you are estimating an angle, if your angle is, say, this, well, you know it's going to be less than 90 because 90 would be up here. It's not just like 5, it's bigger than 5. You have to estimate. Well, it's about halfway between 90 and 0. Halfway between 90 and 0, I'm going to guess that's 45, maybe 50, somewhere in there, okay? You're going to have a few problems where you have to estimate what the degrees of the angle is, and it'll give you some options to choose from. You don't have to know everything perfect, but we're going to try a new way for worksheets today. I want you guys to let me know how it goes in the feedback, if you like it or if you think it's lame. It's called Live Worksheets, and you can use your computer to draw lines for definitions, and you'll have drop-down menus, and it sounds really complicated, but when you get in there, I hope it's really easy for you to use. So with that, I want you all to know that I love you, and I will see you later. Bye.